Kurt and I are not your anchors for this evening. No, we're here at the Kurt Angle Show. And the biggest news of all that came out over the 2 weeks is Angle, your documentary. And my goodness, Saturday, September 2nd. So as this goes out to the public, it'll be Sunday the 3rd. Your documentary will have dropped on Peacock. Again, that's the same day that WWE Payback is going to be live in Pittsburgh. What can fans expect to see with this new documentary, Kurt?
You know what? It's a really great documentary. It's really well put together. Alex Perry did an incredible job. It's about a story about a kid with a dream. And, he had a lot of mishaps along the way, broken necks, issues with drugs. It's about overcoming obstacles. And I am so proud of this documentary. I honestly believe it's one of the best. And Ric Flair quoted this. It makes my documentary look pretty lame. That's what Ric Flair said.
Okay.
And think about what Rick went through. So yeah. I commend Rick for saying that, but I don't think mine is nearly as intense as Ric Flair's life. But Ric Flair seems to think so. So
You'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, as we said at the top of the show, we have a very special guest, the director of Angle, which is available now on Peacock and on demand. That's right. It's none other than Mr. Alex Perry. Alex, you're with us today on the Kurt Angle Show. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me on. I love what you guys
The legend, Alex Perry. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you, Kurt.
You too, man.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. I love what you guys are doing with the show. It's a privilege to be on and be able to talk about this doc because me and Kurt have been on quite the journey with it over the last few years, over the last probably 5 years.
Wow.
It's been an amazing experience overall, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, let's do it. And in true wrestling fashion, Kurt and I are going to be a tag team this week, and we're going to tag in and tag out and go back and forth and throw questions. Are you? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So listen, let's start off with how did you get started producing films? Where did it all start for you, Alex?
Well, it's a great question because I actually probably fell in love with storytelling through wrestling because, as a little kid, prior to movies, I was more so into wrestling, and in the 90s, I was a huge wrestling fan. I loved my brother, who's my agent in Hollywood and is my best friend, got me into it. And I loved the Hogan era. And eventually, like all filmmakers, I picked up a camera probably in my early teens. If I happened to be a super athlete like Kurt, maybe there was a path to being a wrestler in the future. But unfortunately, I'm a very small dude, and that wasn't going to be in the cards. So I picked up a camera probably in my early teens and fell in love with filmmaking and started making short films with my friends. And then it just struck me as a lightning bolt, probably in my early teens. And one day I was standing with the camera and I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I just never thought about anything else since then. I've always thought about filmmaking.
Wow. So that was your focus your whole entire life, was just to be involved in films.
Exactly. Yeah. I've quite literally never thought about anything else. In my early teens, that's when I fell in love with it. And I, when I was a kid, I had those dreams of possibly being like an FBI agent or a firefighter or whatever in the future.
Like all other kids. Yeah.
Or a professional athlete. But like I said, it wasn't in the cards. So yeah. And I was always the creative type. I was always putting on plays in school and such. And short films with my friends just became a thing. And, my whole group of friends became filmmakers, and we all would just make short films all the time together. And it just became it was basically the way we would hang out as kids and as teenagers. And, we just had such a ball doing it that we never found it as work. And I still don't see it as work. And if I'm lucky enough, I want to do this until I never want to retire. I want to do this until I'm gone.
Getting back to wrestling, since you went way off in left field.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You were a wrestling fan growing up. What were some of your favorite memories?